Peace and blessings is real. Uh, Before we get into this word, we must acknowledge our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahushua, for allowing this word to come out. I hope you sincere brothers and sisters are truly edified by today's word. And tonight's word is going to be called Remember Poverty in the Time of Abundance and Necessities of Poverty in Days of Riches. Let me say it again. The name of tonight's word is going to be called Remember Poverty and Time of Abundance and Necessities of Poverty in the Day of Riches. It's going to be a cold-blooded word. It's going to be a sobering word. And what I want to focus on is humble beginnings. Okay, a lot of us may be in a great position today, but you didn't start in that position. And by the grace and favor of the Lord, you have elevated yourself to that position. A beautiful example is that is Tyler Perry, who you see on the screen. This was an individual that used to live in his car, okay? And he was driven to become successful one day. He called in the Oprah Winfrey Show from his car, okay, where he was living in. And many years later, this guy is worth over $400 million, I believe. $304 million he's worth, okay? So we're going to use Tyler Perry as a model example of remember poverty in time of abundance and necessities of poverty in days of riches, okay? Because we have a lot of people, man, that, you have overnight sensations, overnight celebrities. You have individuals that make it out of the hood to the NBA, make it out of the hood to be a rapper, make it out of the hood to be an actor or actress, make it out of the hood to be a Fortune 500 CEO and whatnot, or entrepreneur, for that matter. And a lot of us tend to forget where we came from. That's why you got to always stay rooted with humble beginnings, man. We're going to come to you in Sirach, chapter 18, verse 25. And it reads, when thou hast enough, remember the time of hunger. And when thou art rich, think upon poverty and need. Now let's really analyze that, y'all. Okay. It says, when thou has enough. So when your necessities, when your cup, once you have your daily necessities, right? The Lord give you your daily bread, your daily necessities to survive. Okay. Anything more than that, your cup is running over. So when it says in Sirach 18 and 25, when thou has enough, that means when you is above what your need is. Remember the time of hunger. Okay, remember the time where, you lacked food. Remember the time when you suffered a discomfort, okay, from lack of food. In other words, bring one mind to awareness of in the past when you suffer from discomfort, from lack of food, from borderline starvation, from borderline malnourishment, from borderline famine. Okay? When thou hast enough, remember those times. And it says, when thou art rich, when thou art wealthy, when thou art prosperous, when thou have assets, when thou has an abundance of cash, an abundance of money, think upon poverty and need. Never forget where you come from. It's really what it boils down to. Okay, when you get to the point where you done made it kind of big in life, remember the time when you was damn near starving to death, because that should humble you. It'll keep you from always being proud. It'll keep you from always looking down on others because you done elevated. And it says, when thou art rich, okay, when thou art wealthy, think upon poverty and need. Think of the ones that's extremely poor. Think of the ones that's destitute of wealth. Think of the ones that suffer financial hardship. Think of the ones that's in the state of being a beggar. Think of the ones that's deprived of finances. You see, because you were once that person. So your humble beginnings should always keep you grounded. You've heard the term went from ashy to classy, went from low class to middle class, high class, went from the bottom of the world to the top of the world. And I get that. You know, it's a great accomplishment to elevate like that in life. Not knocking anybody that have done that. But you have to stay rooted. You have to stay grounded. You have to stay humble. And remember where you came from. You see? Because even though you were able to elevate and move on in life, there's still people that suffer discomfort from lack of food. It's still people that hardly ever get a meal. Even though you in a bigger and better place, remember those that's currently in the place that you came from, man. That's why it says in Proverbs 6:30, do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. He can't do what you do, Tyler. He got to steal to eat. But I know when you lived in your car, man, I know those times money was funny, man. And ain't no telling what drastic measures you had to take to feed your belly, man. And by the way, Tyler Perry, he does give back. So I'm not attacking him or saying that he forgot where he came from. I'm just using Tyler Perry as an example of someone that come from humble beginnings, and he hasn't forgot that because he does a lot. This brother does a lot. I mean, you can say what you want to say about him and all of that, but I'm just going to speak on the fact that here's someone that have humble beginnings. Here's someone that used to live in his car, and look at him now. Look at all the opportunities he's given other blacks. The giving of, strangers, funerals, assisting in funeral causes, and just a ton of things that this guy does, man. He gives back. That's just someone who haven't forgotten where he came from. And us that get to that level should be motivated and inspired by what he does by way of giving back and not forgetting where he came from and being mindful of others that's currently in that situation, man. When it comes to being rich, when it comes to being wealthy, prosperous, again, those that have went from ashy to classy, now you have abundance of cash. But let me tell you something about that abundance of cash. Kudos for you. But spiritually, in Matthew 6, verse 19 through 21, it tell you, lay not up for yourself treasures upon earth, where neither moth or rust do corrupt. Okay, and where thieves break through nor steal. Lay your treasures up in heaven, basically. Yeah. That's what we're talking about, man. Your heavenly treasures is what matters when you're a spiritual person. You don't get caught up into the worldly riches. We're more geared and tailored for heavenly riches, you see. Poverty. Spoke about poverty. And we already know what's poverty. Extremely poor, destitute of wealth, hardship, state of a beggar. And that's why I love what it says in Proverbs 19 and 17. He that have pity upon the poor, lend it unto the Lord, and that which he have given will he pay him back. So when you give to the poor, it's like you lending to the Lord, and the Lord gonna take care of you for that. So when individuals are in poverty, man, and you're in a position to help, do that. Because when you do that, you just lend into the Lord. Look what the Lord have done. He's put you in a position where you can be great. Now give some of that back to others that's less fortunate. But as sad as this is, as sad as it is, a lot of us forget that. A lot of us forget that, man. It's a lot of athletes, actors, entertainers. I mean, a lot of people, man, forget where they come from. Sad, man. But again, in Sirach 18:25, it tells you, when thou hast enough, remember the time of hunger. Remember the time where you lacked. And when thou art rich, think upon poverty and need. You see that? You didn't start out having enough, okay? So remember the time when you were hungry, because that's going to level you out. That's going to keep you grounded now that you have an overflow to eat whatever you want to eat. And when you rich, remember poverty and need, because that's where you were. Now that the roles have changed, you should be seeking out others that are poverty and in need. Seek out others that's suffering from hunger. Yeah, man. Cold-blooded word, man. I hope you sincere brothers and sisters were truly edified by this word. And we give all praises, glory, and honor to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahushua, for allowing this word to come out, man. And stay prayed up and keep Yahweh through His only begotten Son, Yahushua, first in everything that you do, man. Shalom.